There have long been signs that alien civilizations may have visited Earth in the distant past. There is one potential piece of evidence, known as the Rhodope skull, that has been catalogued by some researchers as the final evidence of extraterrestrials on Earth. There are many reasons why scientists refuse to acknowledge the existence of extraterrestrial beings on Earth, but the most cited reason is the absence of physical bodies or remains. However, this reasoning often creates a deadlock situation because almost all the evidence is rejected, or even if it isn't, it will disappear before the public is interested. Such is the case with the alien Rhodope skull, a fascinating relic that has never been seen before. This skull was found in the Rhodope Mountains in Bulgaria by a man from Plovdiv, a city located 150 kilometers southeast of Sofia. The unnamed man discovered the skull buried next to a small elliptical metal object. His interesting story begins after having a dream in which 5 humanoid creatures in metallic yellow suits direct him to a location in the Rhodope Mountains, near the border between Bulgaria and Greece. On May 21, 2001, he arrived at the place indicated by strangers and the skull was certainly there. His discovery has generated much controversy and many molecular scientists consider it evidence of the existence of extraterrestrials, as well as their presence on our planet. Initially, he presented his discovery to a small group of people interested in the paranormal, but the skull didn't stay a secret for long. The skull was examined by archaeologist Katia Malamet from the Bulgarian Academy of Sciences and Professor Dmitry Kovachev, director of the Asenovgrad Museum of Paleontology. Both said they had never seen anything like it before. This skull is as big as an infant's skull, but its skeletal structure is lighter and thinner, weighing only 250 grams. It has 6 chambers that researchers believe belong to alien sensory organs. While alive, this creature may possess 6 eyes or may have completely different organs that are not yet known. Interestingly, this skull does not have a mouth hole. Professor Kovachev is certain that it is not a fossil, and does not resemble any human skull known to science. We couldn't find any similarity or correlation with anything over the past 30 million years, Kovachev said. Skeptics believe that the skull belongs to an unidentified animal, although its features are unlike that of any other animal. There are several interesting theories about the Rhodope skull. The famous Bulgarian psychic Kubrat Tomov believes it belongs to a genetically modified organism, created by the Atlanteans. According to him, the skull represents the remains of a failed experiment that took place thousands of years ago in that area. Another theory is that this is most likely the remains of a hastily buried alien killed by soldiers active in the area during World War II. Many people have paid a large amount of money to buy back this skull, but its owner does not sell it because the secrets it brings can far exceed what money can buy. Unfortunately, for some reason the skull disappeared before scientists had a chance to perform DNA analysis and dating. Perhaps it was seized by the government and hidden from public interest. Whoever the present-day owner of this skull is, they clearly don't want to share this secret with the rest of humanity, even though it could be clear evidence of the existence of aliens. Go on an expedition, discover a cave that shines like a wonderland, surprising the whole crew. The video was filmed by a cave expedition on the northern island of New Zealand. When the group moved into the depths of the cave, the scene that appeared before them stunned everyone. Inside the cave are blue light spots, like a sparkling starry night sky. On the ceiling of this million-year-old cave, there are shining stalactites, creating a shimmering and fanciful scene, just like in a wonderland. So, what made this miracle? Maybe they got lost in a mysterious unknown land. After coming out of the cave, the expedition team conducted research and determined that the blue light in the cave was actually emitted by a worm living in a dimly lit environment. This worm is known scientifically as Arachnocomp luminosa, and can only be found in New Zealand. When living in caves, they will release webs like spiders, nest on the ceiling of the cave, and then hang themselves on thin threads, that emits a special kind of blue light. And of course they don't glow for fun, or try to make the cave less dark. These lights attract other insects, and this worm feeds that way. But if the light outside penetrates into the cave, this glowing worm becomes almost invisible to human eyes. After watching the clip, Many people think that the scene in the cave is similar to the land of Na'vi in the movie Avatar by director James Cameron. What do you think about this scene? Please leave a comment to let us know. Thanks a lot. The natural world is always full of interesting things, from monstrous animals to extremely unique plants. Surely you will be amazed with the exotic plants that we are about to introduce below. Let's explore the world's most monstrous plants like they come from another planet. And the tree that opens our video today is very special. It is known as the ancestor of trees. And that's the Welwitschia plant. This plant is also known as living fossil, named after a Latin word meaning marvelous. And this tree that grows in the deserts of Namibia and Angola is as extraordinary as its name suggests. Why? To survive, what species does not need water and food? Right? However, with this Welwitschia plant only about 8 milliliters of water is enough for the whole year. A small part of this water comes from rain, the other part comes from dew in the air. And yet, the most special feature of this plant is that it only has 2 leaves in its entire life. That's right, just 2 leaves guys. From a tiny stem 2 leaves grow and can reach a maximum length of 2 to 4 meters. They are torn by the wind and sand, twisted into strange shapes, so at first sight people often mistakenly think that the tree has a lot of leaves, and is called desert octopus. So the question is, how long can this plant live? The average is 600 years, there are larger trees that are said to be 2,000 years old. That is why it is called a living fossil. In addition, this plant has a very sweet and delicious taste, whether eaten raw or grilled. That's also why it has another name, which is onion of the desert. Have you ever wondered why a stone can bloom? Look cute. However, it is a strange thing for a stone to bloom. So what is the real story? Turns out we've been tricked. You look closely at them, these are not rocks, but they are a native plant that lives in the deserts of southern Africa. These clever succulents must be masters of the acting scene, as they pretend to be rocks to avoid the thirsty animals in the desert. This is the plant Lithops. The scientific name is Lithoptera uniformis. Their camouflage is so effective that it is sometimes difficult for experts to find them. Most Lithops plants bloom joyfully like chrysanthemums in autumn and early winter, exposing their vegetative identity, but there's no other way, because a tree needs to do what it's supposed to do. Yet, this romantic plant also has another special ability that makes them not afraid of arid lands, because if it doesn't rain, they can still live normally, by using the dew in the air. If one day you come across hideous eggs moving in the middle of the forest, don't run away but sit down to watch the scene of the devil's hand coming out of it. Not everyone in this world is lucky enough to see this scene. Because that's the weird mushroom, the octopus stinkhorn fungus. In 2015, a post by the Twitter account with the curious tweet, "Alien eggs hatching in the new forest, the wonderfully weird devil's fingers," accompanied by a few photos of something like an octopus emerging from a cloudy egg, which looks like a scene from an alien monster movie. These octopus antennae will bloom brilliantly, making everyone think of a hand emerging from hell. However, you do not need to be afraid, because they are just a harmless fungus. This fungus has the scientific name Clathrus archeri, also known as the stink fungus, octopus stinkhorn. And another more impressive name is devil's finger. When it first grows, it will have an egg-like shape. Then the shell will break, the red tentacles like an octopus's tentacle through the mucous membrane will burst into 4 to 8 bright red petals, just like the devil's hand is outstretched. These fingers are covered with dark green mucus filled with spores, which stink like corpses, attracting flies to help spread the spores everywhere. Although possessing an appearance that alienates the whole world, in fact, devil's fingers fungus is harmless to us humans. So you can safely come close and admire it. And do you shiver when you see our human-shaped plant today? That's the tree of death, mandrake. According to legend, this plant has made many people in Europe obsessed, because the plant is described as growing from the place where death row prisoners were hanged. When uprooting the mandrake, its screams can kill people. Unlike ordinary plants, the roots of mandrake are shaped like humans. Since then, it is rumored that when a mandrake is pulled up, it screams horribly, then anyone who hears its screams will lose their lives in an instant. Therefore, many people were afraid to see the mandrake plant with human-shaped roots, and did not dare to pull it out of the ground. It's scary, don't know if this really exists in real life or just in legend. What do you think of these strange plants? Please leave your comments. There are many strange plants like that. See you in the next video.